I'll share it in the Jersey group too.
So we're going on YouTube? Yeah?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Or just...
Only 5 people want to join the group. Thanks for coming on. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us. Sharing the link in the group and stuff to get everybody in here right now. So,
did you post in the event, or you just post in the group?
I just posted in the group.
All right, I'll grab it and throw it in the event too, because that'll notify everybody for the event.
Yeah. So, Travis, you have a merch account?
Yeah, I actually have 2 of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One's the business's and one's my wife's.
Oh, okay.
Because you got to have the different bank accounts and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I was one of those people that started merch pretty much day one, but then didn't do anything with it.
It was pretty normal, honestly.
Yeah, I know. So I actually was surprised to find out about the second account. I didn't realize it, but somehow I just had a second account. And so when I started getting serious about it, I was like, wow, I have 2 of these things. I better do something about this. Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, start off by doing the usual, right, Matt? Do the usual last 7 days.
Shit.
Start off by doing that. So my last 7 days on merch. Travis, if you don't feel comfortable saying your last 7 days, you don't have to. But okay, so last 7 days, 201 shirts sold for $868 in royalties.
Right. I'll pull mine up in a second. Hold on.
You actually just got to. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's pretty awesome. That's like a good month for me.
Yeah. Last 7 days, I'm at 104 for 387.51. So it's been a little rough.
Have you guys been seeing? It seems to be maybe picking back up a little bit.
Yeah, I see it a little bit. I don't know. It's like hit or miss, but it seems to be picking back up. Like the numbers are going back up, but then there's some days like the numbers are just they're horrible. They're shit.
Every time I get excited, I feel like the next day I'm gonna have a day that goes to shit. Like today, like yesterday was like decent. Today is just like ugh. So whatever. I mean, I balanced out because we list on multiple platforms. So I happened to check my Spreadshirt account for the first time today in like a week, and I found an order for 47 shirts. So that made my month a little bit better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I have two accounts, like I was saying. One's a tier 1,000 and the other's tier 500. So we're still kind of in that ramping up stage. Like the one that is at 500 just got tiered up, so it still has. I want to say it has like 100 shirts is all right now. So so we're still kind of in the process of figuring out how to handle so many freaking uploads and just putting systems to it that work. It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure.
It's a different game than FBA. You know what I mean? Like being able to build a system that you can actually get it to grow and have it consistent and scale it out. It's a different game.
Yeah.
Part of that's just the infancy of the platform. You don't have the ability to do a lot of the things that you do now with FBA and Seller Central and all of the reports and on-page data and everything else. So it's hard to optimize a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it is really kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks at this point.
100%. How many people we got live right now, RJ?
We got oh yeah, okay. All right, 24 people watching. Yeah, I gotta fix that link on the bottom because it's not clicking through.
Okay.
I don't think I did it right. Did I do it right? I don't think
Hey guys, do me a favor if you can share this. Let's get a few more people on. We'll dig into this. Jacob, put the word out for us.
Yeah. Also, give a thumbs up to the video too as well. Appreciate that. Don't give it a thumbs down. I'm just kidding. No, I said that. Now they're gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. Do whatever you want to. Do whatever you feel like.
Okay. Well, we have a special guest on today. His name is Travis. He is. So you're actually like the main person that put together the reseller conference, right?
Yeah. Myself and Paul Witter. We put it Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference. Yeah, we put it on. This is our 3rd year.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I heard about it about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a big event. It seems like a big event. I see a lot of people there.
Yeah, it kind of started just with Paul and I deciding, we have all these friends all over the country on Facebook, and we connect with them on Facebook, but why don't we try to have an event and invite all of them to the same place? And I know you guys, the whole reason you guys invited me on is because the power of networking.
Yeah.
And that really is the whole reason we started it. And so that first year was really just dipping our toe in the water. We didn't really know what to expect, but it went over really well. And so we did it again last year, and kind of we tripled the space of our space that we were renting, and added a whole bunch more speakers. We did breakouts, and this year we're trying to kind of do that again. We're not tripling our space, but we're still we're just building on kind of the success that we've had, and we're pretty excited about it. We've got a whole bunch of merch, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But we got a whole bunch of merch stuff that's going on this year because it's pretty hot right now, and people are really excited about it, and they're wanting to learn about it.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things. I'm a little sad because I'm not going to be able to make the conference because I have a prior commitment. But just going off of all of my friends that are actually going to be there, I swear to God, I know probably 20 to 25 people that are going to be there between speakers and other friends that are going. So, it's going to be I know for you guys kind of do a little bit of everything, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of merch at the conference.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't actually officially published the schedule, but I'll give you guys kind of a little bit of a sneak preview of what we're planning on doing. But like you said, it really is kind of an all things Amazon conference. We talk about FBA private label, we talk about wholesale, we talk about retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. We've got a lot of different people talking about a lot of different things, and then of course merch. But then the cool thing about it is that we have these breakouts. And so if you aren't interested in private label, you don't have to hear about private label. You can go to the merch breakout, or you can go to the wholesale breakout, or the arbitrage breakout, or whatever. And then when we do have our main sessions, we're going to be focusing more on branding and marketing and things like that, which can apply to all of those different ways to sell on Amazon.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the things that actually really interested me about your conference is the concept of instead of having just speakers, of having separate little events, basically, that gives people the opportunity to focus on their thing, like to go out and do some networking, meet with other people in their little niche that they're working on versus, being stuck in that little box.
Yeah.
And also, too, you're going to have some big speakers there, right, for merch?
Yeah. Yeah. Ken Reel is going to be there. Neil Lassen's going to be there. Pretty excited to have those guys, and then Anthony and Kevin, the Jersey merch guys, are going to be there, and I know I know Chris Green actually was telling me the other day he's going to join us too. I don't have him as a specific speaker, but I'm going to have him kind of help host a roundtable discussion that we're going to have one of the days for merch.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Make sure Anthony's not punking Kevin when he's there too.
I can make no promises.
I watch him sometimes on the live. He's all flipping them off. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That's pretty, like, we had our first conference this year too. It was actually like one of the biggest, like a real good turnout. Like we got to network with everybody and stuff like that. So once you get into that, I don't know, you just had an experience. It's a whole different, like another level. Like it brings your game to another level. Once you go to a conference and communicate and network with people, stuff like that, man, is like, I don't know, it makes you feel good. Like you're in the room with like-minded people, and that brings up like your just everything, like everything. It makes you, I don't know, just brings everything about you.
Yeah, I think the other cool thing is that, when you get back home and, you're going through your whatever, your weekly, daily tasks and upload and all that, all of a sudden you got like, a question or a concern or, hey, I wonder what such and such, I wonder what RJ thinks about this. You have a kind of, you kind of have like a Rolodex, and you can go back to those people, you can message them on Facebook and get some best practices and get some good answers, some good advice from people that you met. And it's always so much easier to message some. I mean, most of us on Facebook, I mean, we have a pretty good community. We're pretty open to letting people just kind of message us whenever, but it's so much easier to message that person that you shared a beer with, a month ago at a conference. It just kind of evens the playing field, because you realize that, Ken Reel is just a dude, I mean, he knows a whole bunch about the platform, but he's just a guy, just like me. Chris Green, he's the guru of FBA and the guru of merch. He's been around forever. He's as old as the trees when it comes to Amazon, but he's just a guy, and he's very approachable. And when you kind of when you actually meet these people face to face, it really just can do nothing but help your business and help your networking.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's I talked to Anthony a little bit before we did Marcella, but ever since we went to Marcella, I think I probably talked to Anthony probably at least 2 to 3 times a week. Whether it's phone calls or texts or whatever. It's just your network changes completely when you actually have the opportunity to meet these people face to face and have some human interaction. Like not depend on Messenger for all of your conversations. Have a beer, and suddenly before you know it, it just opens up a ton of doors. Like that for me is the biggest thing when I go to one of these events. Like the speakers are great and I learn things and all that stuff, but the networking opportunities, 100%, that's the reason that I go.
Yeah, totally agree. For sure. And it's one of the reasons we do videos too, because there's a whole bunch of different rooms that are, there's things happening in all these different rooms, and half the time, obviously you can't be in all those different places at the same time, but then even beyond that, maybe you want to sleep in Saturday because you were out late Friday night talking and networking, so you have the opportunity to see some of that stuff later, through the videos. But to your point, the networking, the things that are going on in the hall are really, those are the important things that really long-term, they impact your business.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And then you build that trust too. Also too, you also meet that person like face to face, and then you build that trust, and then next thing you know, you're like, he's exactly how he is online or on the internet or in social media or whatever. So that's another thing too.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you like? What Travis what you want to tell? Like, give the audience a kind of more of a insight about you.
Yeah. So I've been selling on Amazon for about 3.5 years now. I mean, obviously the conference started more on the FBA side of things than it did a merch, because merch really wasn't. I think it had maybe just started when we did our first conference in April of 16. Yeah. So, it would have been going on, but a lot of people didn't really know about it. So anyway, so I've been selling for 3.5 years now, doing a ton of RA, retail arbitrage, some OA. I have some private label products. We've got a brand that I'm going through the whole trademark thing with the brand, and I was in brand registry one. If you know anything about private label, I was in brand registry 1.0, and then they updated it to 2.0 and made it to where you had to have a trademark. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole horror story with that thing, man, because basically some vendor sold my product that they found in China to Amazon, and Amazon is now selling on my listing on my branded product. It's a different package, doesn't have the instruction manual that I send with it, but I did a test order and took pictures and opened up a case, and they were like, well, if you don't have a trademark, tough crap. So I'm going through the long, arduous process of getting that and just basically waiting out Amazon stock in the meantime. So that's a whole nother, horror story about, private label. But so I do a lot of private label. Like I said, we've been focusing on merch a lot lately. Probably in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, we've, got several designers that we're working with, and we're just trying to figure out how to scale that part of the business. And then simultaneously, we're still doing RA, because RA really, and for those of you who don't know, RA is retail arbitrage. It's really kind of the cash machine of our Amazon business. We spend money and it spits out a better a better return, and then we can use that cash to reinvest in either more products or more designers for the merch side, or however we want to.
Right. I think that's the exciting thing too for, anybody so if you're in merch or you're doing, FBA or whatever, right? Like there's a certain DNA to that person, right? You've got a little bit of that hustler in you. You're out there trying to figure out a way to make money on the side. And so much of this stuff kind of all works together. Like, I found merch because I started doing RA because I was trying to pay off our wedding. So that's how I found merch. And then now I do merch full time just because like RA was not my bread and butter. I hated going out and sourcing. And, merch has become an addiction. Like we work on it now, 10 to 12 hours a day, it seems like. But I think it all ties together. That's, and that's the beauty of like a conference event like this. Like you have so many people that are in merch right now that do, RA, OA, that do wholesale, private label. So it all kind of works together.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm really excited about, there's a guy coming to our conference that his name's Luke Humbrecht. And nobody knows him. He doesn't sell on Amazon, but he does branding. And if you're familiar with Donald Miller's Story Brand, it's kind of a program that you can be certified for and all that. He's a certified Story Brand marketing consultant, if you will. And he has a website called, I think it's voicecraft.net, I think is his website. Anyway, what he does is he teaches, he consults brands on how to market their products through the lens of story. And it's super, super interesting. And it's so applicable to every single one of us. As a merch guy, a lot of merch people, I think, are trying to maybe build a brand so they can take it off Amazon and, do a Shopify or do, different other channels and platforms. But this whole idea of telling your story to market your product through the lens of story is so interesting. And so basically the idea is, you go to an About Us page on online and you hear, my grandfather started this company in 1804 and whatever, that'd be an old man, but 1904. and basically, they talk about, the About Us is all about me and et cetera, and you've lost the person because no one gives a crap about you. I'm the star of my own story, not you. So I'm not interested in your story. I'm interested in my story. And so the company that can put me at the center of the story is going to win my business. And It's really, really interesting. And I cannot wait for that session. So all that to say, a lot of our speakers that are talking to kind of the general assembly, if you will, are going to be applicable to everybody and not just one specific demographic.
Yeah, I mean, that would for sure make me even that much more pumped. I mean, I know with RJ, we've had this discussion many times, even on the show, but behind the scenes, our number one concern right now is how do we market and brand our stuff, right? Like, how do we stand out? Because in Amazon, you're just mixed up with everything else. It's just a sea of, T-shirts for sloths and everything else. So, marketing and branding, I think, are the number one things that are going to set aside sellers going forward on the platform.
Right. And I don't know. I mean, do you see a way to actually make brand matter on Amazon on that particular channel? Do you see that as to me, it doesn't even make a difference. Obviously my brand name is just more another place for keywords. Do you see that changing, or what's your anticipation?
So my idea right now, at least in terms of how I'm approaching things, is I'm not necessarily trying to build brand on Amazon, right? Like Amazon's my fulfillment center. It's where I send people to actually go through the process of checking out and everything else. But it's how do I create an audience off of Amazon and use Amazon right now to be able to do my fulfillment, to be able to do my sales and everything else, and then eventually plan on diversifying a little bit and leading them to my Shopify store or my Etsy store or whatever, as we build up the brand on Instagram, as we build up the brand on Facebook, that kind of thing. So that's where, your story and all of that stuff, and actually being able to build an audience, that I think you can do that off of Amazon and still use Amazon to be able to get your sales and everything else.
Okay. So your plan would be to, at least at first, your Shopify is going to point to to your Amazon store. Eventually, maybe you'll switch to Printful or one of the other guys and start fulfilling yourself. Okay.
Yep, exactly. And you can actually do it concurrent too, right? Like you can give them the option, like buy on Amazon or buy through your Shopify store, however you want to do it.
Okay.
And just depending on if people don't want to click through Amazon and go through the checkout process and everything else, then you can capture the email and actually start to build some information on your customer base.
Mm-hmm. Which is that's really where the marketing can really take off, I think.
Yep.
Me, like right now, I'm just like, because with the audience and stuff like that, like I'm trying to help out a lot of people at the same time. So it's just more of like, I'm like all over the place a little bit, but I see what's working and what's not working. You know what I mean? So it's all about testing. And for me, it's just, I was like, wanted to focus on building a brand on there, but now I'm just like build out a niche and just take over that niche. That's my main focus right now.
Yeah. So. I've literally, like the last week I finally opened an Etsy account. I finally opened a Printful account, and I'm just kind of tip of the iceberg looking at what it's going to take to maybe do some of that. The cool thing about Etsy is that I have some of our private label products I think will do really well in Etsy. They're kind of they're frilly, if you will, and so we'll use it to we'll be able to fulfill from Amazon. I think you can fulfill from Amazon to Etsy, right? Like direct ship. I think it's Walmart that you can't, right? But yeah, so we'll use Amazon as our partner for Etsy, but then also slowly start the Printful to Etsy integration and start loading up our shirts there too.
Yeah, I mean, because merch has been kind of really up and down for the last month or so for us. So we dug deep into Etsy this week, and we're starting to see results right now. I mean, we've had consistent sales the last 3 days, and just building out our product catalog and everything else. I think Etsy's a monster that most people don't even realize. Like, we talk about it, but people don't realize how big of a buying platform Etsy is.
Mm-hmm. What do you see as the main draw for the Etsy buyer? Because it doesn't seem to be price.
It's not price. So for the main draw for the Etsy buyer is the fact that it's a little bit niche, right? Like you're buying from Etsy. So it's, your buyer is going to be somebody that's a little bit higher income class, somebody that is interested in things that are like handmade. They won't care a little bit more about quality necessarily than Amazon. They don't want to have something that's faceless or brandless. They want to buy from somebody that is actually a brand, that has a story, that has a face. Mm-hmm. So that's the big difference. I think when you're creating a brand on Etsy, if you look at like some of the most successful sellers on the platform, like they have voracious fans, like they have really active Instagram accounts. They have really, really heavy social media platforms. There's a brand by the name of Everfit. It's a woman's workout, fashion, kind of brunch stuff. It's based in Orange County, and they are the #1 seller of apparel on Etsy. And if you look at their tags on Instagram, like their comments are just literally just people, like 150 people tagging their girlfriends in it, like, we need to buy this.
Wow. Let's get there.
And I also too, I found her in the owner of Everfit. I found her in a Facebook group. And she was like, she had like 100 sales before 6 a.m. in the morning. I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
Is that their only channel? Do they do any other channels?
They sell direct on Amazon also, but their primary business is run through Etsy. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you look at like just the money that Etsy takes off the top too, it's like 3.5%. That's it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's a bargain in terms of, what your fees are and everything else.
That's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. And then also too, we've been uploading like on other platforms too as well. Redbubble, Spreadshirt, Cafe Press, and what was the other one? Teespring.
Fuck Teespring.
Is that the one that copies all my shirts? Is that
Teespring? Yeah.
Somebody copies all my shirts. Yeah. You look at your best sellers on Amazon, and like they're already there, like 50 of them.
I went on Teespring the other day to upload some of my stuff, and I would just happen to be double checking because like I don't remember where all of my stuff is, right? Like I don't always necessarily put it all up at the same time. And I started looking for a particular niche that I'm doing. I'm like, oh, there's our shirt, there's our shirt, there's our shirt. And then I look through it, I'm like, I didn't fucking upload that. Jesus Christ.
Right. Yeah, super annoying.
Yeah, good.
So what's your best, RJ, what's your best channel aside from Amazon?
Right now, best channel is going to be Spreadshirt. Seems like to be making sales consistently every day right now. But Etsy, I've been focusing more on Etsy right now. And
I've been using Amazon to fulfill those? Or are you pointing people to, how does that work?
No, just Printful and
Printful. Okay.
Organic traffic on there pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about I know I can find this in the Facebook group, but I'm going to ask you anyway because I'm talking to you. What have you had any issues with fulfillment time at all?
What
Printful? Like how long it takes Printful to get the item to your customer?
No, I actually haven't. I actually messed around with the shipping times. Like I put like the shipping times, handling time like 2 days, or I haven't put 1 day. Haven't messed with that. I'm too scared to mess with that. But I put like 2 days, and there was one time it was almost late. It was late. It was actually late. It was late, but it still made it on time. It shipped it out to the customer.
That's cool.
But
Printful's been on it though. Like ever since the new year, I swear to God, like the stuff they get an order and it goes out in like 1 to 2 days, like minimum.
That's awesome.
Now they're pretty good about and the customer service is real good too as well. Everything. There's nothing bad about them yet. I haven't had no returns, no customers returns. I have over 400 sales, no returns at all.
Wow. That seems to be not the norm.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Are you just using the Glidden regular black, navy, and gray shirt or whatever, or white, I think, are the 3 colors, or are you using other shirts?
Right now, we've been focusing more, me and Matt kind of been going over a little bit more of like the variations on a listing. So like if a customer goes and clicks on the listing, they have different types of like they can choose like a kid's t-shirt, like in the same listing.
Okay.
Not too many people are doing that, but it's just something that we're testing out right now. It hasn't. Well, Matt, has it worked for you? Has it been working for you?
No, because I mean, we've sold a variety of stuff on our shop from the very beginning, just because I wanted to be a little bit different. Like everybody was doing, like the Gildan shirt or whatever. So ours is primarily a women's shop, anyways. So we added tank tops to it right away, and then we also added like a scoop neck shirt for women, which we might actually go away from because we've had a couple of reviews that are kind of iffy just because it's smaller sizing, it's Bella canvas. But yeah, just try to test things out. Like I think that it's important to have things on your shop that kind of tie in with what your brand is for Etsy, because brand is really important on Etsy. You want to make sure that like if you're doing a shop that's focused on women's, you don't have suddenly like Father's Day gifts popping up in your shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's more brand centric. Yeah, that makes sense.
For sure. Let me see. I think the link down below to where you get your ticket for the conference. I don't think it's working. I'll fix that. The link down below in the description on the video. It's not working. You also too. So you offered. So you get the tickets on the website, correct?
Yeah.
And then
just go to resellerconference.com.
Okay, reseller conference, and then also too, you offered everybody a $50 off.
Yeah. For our merch peeps. Yeah. So just put in the code MERCH50 and it's all capital letters, and that'll save you $50 on the it's $359 right now until the end of the month, so through April 30th, and then it goes up to I want to say $459, so $449. It takes quite a jump, so make sure if you're going to come you save yourself some money and get in before the end of the month. Yeah,
and it's going to be what, June 1st to the
June 1st and 2nd, so that's Friday and Saturday. Most people come in Thursday night, and because there's always tons of people at the hotel. The hotel's actually getting a massive facelift right now. They're redoing the lobby, and it's going to look really, really sharp. It's supposed to be done sometime in May, so we're crossing our fingers that it's done by the conference, but it should be. So they come in on Thursday. We have the conference. It's like roughly from 9 to 5:30ish on both days, so Friday and Saturday. And then a lot of people will stay that one more night and fly out Sunday morning. We've got a special hotel rate. It's a really good rate. It's $114 for single occupancy, and that includes a hot breakfast in the morning. They have a really nice buffet with sausage and bacon and all that. And if you do dual, like 2 people in a room, dual occupancy, it only goes up $10, and you get a second breakfast. And you can do that up to 4. So I think it's like, I don't know, 134, 144, something like that, for 4 people in a room and 4 breakfasts. It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty fucking money. It's more money than I'm spending in Vegas in a month to go out there. So
that's what I was talking to. I want to talk to you about going to the conference over there in Denver. So I want to talk to Young a little bit, see if he's going. If he's going, I might go. I'm not sure.
You're gonna come, RJ. You're gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. So I'll just give you a rundown of the schedule. So in the morning we'll have like a session. Then we're gonna introduce all the speakers. We're gonna have another session. We've actually got a potential kind of special guest that we can't really say a lot about, and it's still not 100%, which is why we haven't officially announced it. But there's a good chance that we're gonna have somebody that has kind of some inside knowledge, and that's all I'll say about that. And then we're going to start the breakouts in the morning. And last year we just did two sets of breakouts. This year we're going to do 3 sets of breakouts. So there'll be a breakout in the morning and then 2 sessions in the afternoon of breakouts, and there'll be 3 different breakouts you can go to at any one time. One of those breakouts will be dedicated to merch the entire weekend. So we'll have Ken speak in one slot, Neil speak in one slot, Kevin and Anthony speak in one slot, and then the second day, those merch breakouts are going to be specific just merch roundtables. So 2 sessions of just basically a Q&A for all of those guys and whoever we have on those panels. And I think it's going to get pretty cool, some pretty cool information during those times. So yeah. And then on Friday night, we're talking with the Rockies. We're trying to figure out a way to get everybody downtown to Coors Field and go see a Rockies baseball game. Nice. So we're trying to make it a little bit more enjoyable for everybody. There might be a small charge for that, but we're trying to make it to where it's a real small charge, and you get dinner and maybe a drink or something like that. So we're trying to get a sponsor to kind of help us with that, so the attendees just get an opportunity to see downtown Denver, which is freaking awesome on a weekend night, especially when the Rockies are in town.
Yeah, you're making.
See, I told you, RJ, you're gonna come.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm already getting worse FOMO right now because, like, my wife and I are in a wedding, and they're having an engagement party that Saturday. So it's like I can't leave. I can't miss that. So otherwise, for sure, I would be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna talk to Young though, see if he's going, and then I'll probably work something out and probably head down there or something.
Awesome.
You need Young to hold your hand or something?
Nah, I don't want to go by myself.
Bro,
you will not be by yourself.
Do you know how many people we know are going to this conference? Are you kidding me? Like, do you need somebody to like snuggle with or what? I don't understand.
I like staying in my little garage. Look, I'm in my little garage right here. I enjoy myself here.
Hey man, come on! It's about networking. It's about meeting people you don't know, man. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, I know. We just all explained that at the beginning of the video. Seems fun. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know I'm not even sure who else is gonna be there. Who's gonna? This Ken.
Kristen's going to be. Well, I mean, for the people that we know, Kristen Harris is going to be there. Anthony and Kevin are obviously going to be there. Bo lives in close to Denver. Joseph Gallegos is in there. Who else is going? Oh, John and Amanda Balcazar are both going to be there also.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of, and I know there's people I'm forgetting right now that I'm not mentioning.
Yeah, if you go to ARCS, you can see kind of some of the speakers, but yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people that are already planning on coming that. A lot of them are heavy into the merch world, and then a lot of them, are heavy into Amazon in general. And it seems to be most people that are doing FBA and wholesale are also doing merch anymore. I mean, that's kind of comes with the territory anymore. So that's why we've, really tried to focus on it this year a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt Carlett says he's actually looking to see if he can fit it in the schedule right now too. So that's somebody you should have on your roundtable Q&A if Matt comes out.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Me and him go all the buffets if we go.
Well, you can share a room and you can get a breakfast buffet both days.
No, that's pretty cool. And like I said, the link in the description is, I think it's messed up, so I'll put another link in there after this video. You guys can check that out. Use the coupon too as well. We don't get nothing from it. Just let you guys know. We're just here to help out. It's a good event, and then I haven't heard nothing bad about it at all. So want to put it out there and support Travis and. Yeah, we're doing this.
All the friends that we have that are actually out there going to be like speaking and everything else. And honestly, man, like I said, I think it's a cool event. Like the idea behind it, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Appreciate you guys doing that too. Hey, one last thing I want to mention. There's a t-shirt contest that we're running in our Facebook group, the Rocky Mountain Reseller Facebook group. And it's basically just the official t-shirt for the event. Last year we had a contest. It was really awesome, and we ended up with 2 official t-shirts. So we're running that. It's $100 to the winner, $50 to the second place guy and or gal. And if you want to be a part of that, we'd love to see your guys' designs. Just join the Facebook group and submit your designs. It's pretty simple.
When will you pick the winner for that?
We're gonna pick the winner I think April 29th, I think I said in the thread. So before the end of the month. So here in about a week or so. You got a week to get your design in.
Okay, cool. That's also be a good way to actually help someone tier up too if they're in the lower tiers. Like if they make a good shirt design and win.
Totally.
Okay. Yeah. You want to? Yeah, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Let's get a couple questions. Chat. Give me a little bit.
So just because it's going to take a second for questions to come in, Travis, just for our own information, like how did you guys come about like putting together the conference? Had either of you guys done anything like this before, or were you just like literally flying by the seat of your pants?
So my background is in ministry. So I've been in like youth ministry and worship ministry my whole life, and so I've done tons of events. I mean, technically every Sunday was another event. I mean, I was the music guy and had to make sure the lights and the presentation, all that. So I have like event experience, and Paul Witter, my partner, he is really good with, first of all, he's a workhorse. He just works really hard. And then he's really good with like all the fine tuned details. He he remembers all the little things, and so we've been a good team, but yeah, we didn't really have any, formal experience aside from just our history, and then just the desire to meet all these people that we were Facebook friends with.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of with the way that. What are we calling this thing, by the way, RJ? We're not calling it Marcella anymore. So, what's the name going to be for 2019?
I don't know. I don't know. It's I got the email this morning about the trademark thing, and I was like, this guy has all my information. I don't even.
Right.
So he
got bullshit though.
So what? Talk more about that. What? You got an email?
Yeah. Well, there was a trademark. I got a trademark email this morning about Marcella. The conference that we had this year. Yeah. Someone, because it's close to
that
Coachella.
Is trademark. Oh.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just think it's the trademark holders kind of flexing their muscles because they have money, but it's still bullshit.
Okay. Yeah, that seems kind of a little far out in right field or left field.
Well, when you Google it, you don't see Marcella won't pop up. I'm pretty sure it will if you type it in, but Coachella, Marcella, I don't know. I don't.
Jacob Topping wants to know: is there going to be a beer bus?
We did a brew bus, basically a tour the first 2 years, where we loaded everybody on the bus and went to different breweries. Because if you don't know, Colorado is known for a lot of craft beer, and so there's just a ton of breweries all over the place. And this year we decided basically that first of all, it was hard to get everybody in the buses, and then secondly, not everybody likes beer. And so that's why we decided to do this Rockies game thing. And we're not 100% sure that that's going to happen. I think it's a pretty good chance. We're still firming that up. So, but we wanted to do a Rockies game so people could have the networking opportunity that the brew bus provided, but you weren't like at a bunch of bars. You know what I mean? It was just a different environment, and it was more inviting for the rest of the people that didn't want to be in a bar or drinking beer.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about that too is there's going to be space for people to spread out a little bit. And there's also going to be, it's not going to be quite as loud. You're actually going to be able to have a conversation.
Yeah, and the place we're going to be at is actually, it's basically just a big, huge open area that's in outfield, and you kind of stand, and so you can watch the game. You don't have to watch the game.
Right.
It's just a really cool environment. And like I said, it gets everybody downtown. If you want to take the bus back to the hotel at 10 o'clock, you can, or you can stay downtown for a while and hit a couple places and then Uber back.
Nice.
I love Uber. I love taking Uber everywhere.
Yeah, me too.
Some of the best times are when in the Uber. Can't go into detail, but we'll.
Apparently not.
That's for sharing, and when you're in person, that's why you can share that at the conference, RJ.
Yeah, awesome. For sure. Not for sure. I don't think anybody has any questions. You guys have any questions for Travis about the conference or anything like that?
Or general questions about merch, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Throw any questions out there about merch or anything like that.
It's real interesting because, when you start talking to people about merch, even people that are above you in tier, it's amazing just the vast amount of knowledge that people have that they don't realize that maybe somebody else doesn't have. There's just so much to it. It's not like Ken Reel is still learning stuff, even though he's,
right.
Killing it, with his, and he knows probably more than most of us, but he's still learning things from Neil and from Anthony and from me and from you. And you know what I mean? So yeah, even though I'm not the tier where you guys are, it's amazing. I realize when I start talking about this stuff, it's like, oh, wow, I have a little bit of knowledge. I didn't realize I knew so much about that topic,
right.
When it comes to FBA or merch or whatever.
Right. But I mean, if you're doing private label on Amazon, right, like you're writing your own listings, so you have to understand listing optimization. You have to understand keywords, SEO, all that stuff. So all of these things work together. Mike wants to know brand, image, or watermark. Are you talking about Etsy, Mike? I'm assuming, because you can't do that on Amazon.
I'm not sure.
And April is
it's all right. It's not catching like.
Yeah, it's not close to March for me, anyways. It's not dead, but hasn't been great. As far as Etsy goes, no, I don't. Yeah, you can't do that on merch, Mike. You can't have your brand in the image or the watermark unless you're talking about like private label listings or something like that, which you have control over the images.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want there.
Right, exactly.
Do you guys have you tried that? Have you tried Printful to Amazon?
I haven't. Young's been bugging me about it. He's been uploading some stuff to it, and he really likes it so far, but I haven't actually got into it. Because it's a little bit of work, but it sounds like it could be pretty good when you're talking about, because you can offer things that we don't offer on merch.
Yeah. Is he doing the same type of thing where he's putting like one design but multiple types of products on the same listing?
So. I think he's offering, like multiple things on, like different varieties of clothing.
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing. Yeah,
that's pretty smart.
Yeah. Let's see. Jacob asked about the beer bus again.
It seems to be a priority for Jacob. I mean, so Jacob, here's what we're going to do for you, bud. We're going to set up a beer bus just for you. Everybody else is going to go to the baseball game. Jacob, you can go to the beer bus.
We'll call it the beer Uber.
We'll get you an Uber with like 4 pints in it.
They got good beer at the baseball game. Always got good beer at the baseball game.
Yeah. Paul was telling me, he was like, I think before the game starts, there's $3 beers, which is crazy for a ballpark. And then the game starts, and they probably like go up to like $8. I don't know.
That's still cheap. I went to an Angels game. We went to opening day, and it was for just like for 805, right? Like they call them bombers. They're tall cans, right? $14.75 for a tall can. Retarded.
I looked it up too. Like in MLB, that the Angels was like the second cheapest for beer.
Really? And it was $14.
Yeah, the Dodgers are like number one. Dodgers and Yankees are like number one for like the most expensive beer.
Wow.
Little fun hacker trick.
That's because the Dodgers park sucks. They got to figure out a way to monetize it somehow.
Have you guys ever been to Coors Field?
No, I've never actually been to Denver.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're missing out. Coors Field is gorgeous because it's a newer park, obviously, because the Rockies are kind of a new I think it was built in the 90s, but they did it really kind of old timey, and it's like brick, and it feels retro, but it's pretty new still. And actually, a fun fact: Blue Moon actually has a brewery inside of the park, so you can actually get fresh brewed, I guess, Blue Moon right there at the park. It's kind of cool.
That's dope.
I like Blue Moon too. It's pretty good.
Cool. Well, I think we're good, guys. We'll fix that link down below and get it working. And then, but my advice would be, like, honestly, man, like, if there was any way I could work it out, I would be going to this conference. Like, I think it's that big a deal. Like, you wouldn't believe how big of a difference it made to my business just going to Marcella and meeting all these people and talking and sharing ideas. Like, it's a game changer. It changes your entire perspective on things.
Yeah, it was the first in line for the tacos too. Just to let you guys know. All right. Okay, Travis, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you
later.